you know, we've seen such a huge inflection of attention, and you know, her play, just the way she plays the game, I think that's going to be sustainable. Our backcourt, I think, is probably going to be one of the best in the league between her and Kelsey. It's a dynamic duo right there. But we've had points where, incremental points where we've had, you know, the tide lift a little bit and then go back down. So, you know, we're going to work at making sure that we capture all the opportunities.
A couple things that I love that she said. One, she praised her star players. She did not hold back. She admitted to the success that is Caitlin Clark and that this organization has not seen.
You hear that? It's the sound of jaws dropping all over the WNBA. ESPN just dropped a bombshell about Caitlin Clark's new boss, and it's got everyone talking. But here's the thing, is it really as shocking as they're making it out to be? I've got the inside scoop on what's really going down with Clark and the Indiana Fever. Trust me, you're gonna want to stick around for this, because what ESPN's not telling you, that's the real story here. Do you know how some collegiate athletes simply disappear once they enter the professional ranks? Caitlin Clark, however, is not one of them. At Iowa, this girl was an absolute beast, shattering records like they were nothing. In her senior year, the player in question averaged more than 30 points each game. That's crazy.
She has lived up to expectations, right? I'm looking at her the way I look at LeBron James, right? For us, just in the women's side of things, and the height that she had, the expectations she had.
Let's start with the rookie, Caitlin Clark Kent. Superwoman, you see what I did there? She was on a tear, and last night was no different. Wings, Fever, Caitlin Clark set to go as she broke the single-season assist record.
She's been playing like a top 5 player in the league. She's been regularly dishing out double-digit assists in that time frame. Teams can no longer blitz her and trap her.
The problem is that everyone questioned whether she could continue to succeed in the WNBA. The game is faster, the competition is more difficult, and the pressure is much greater. Clark's initial games with the Fever, that is, unadulterated fire. We're talking about rookie records that keep dropping. She's dominating, not simply playing well. Did you watch that matchup with the Mercury? Diana Taurasi was on the sidelines, looking irate, but Clark was cooking. Imagine Clark out there, grabbing rebounds like she had magnets for hands, scoring baskets from all around the court, and dishing out assists like she's giving out candy. They appeared to be about to be crushed by the Fever. But things weren't always easy. Clark had to demonstrate that she could withstand the pressure as the second half became tense. What's crazy, do you? She flourished in it rather than merely surviving it. When things became close in the game, Clark really came through. When it counted, she was making plays, making clutch shots, and remaining composed. Not only is Clark altering the rules, but other people in Indiana are also doing the same. The Fever have recently reintroduced their old secret weapon. Why does ESPN have such doubts about this revolutionary move? Now let's discuss Kelly Krauskopf. Who's that is probably what you're wondering. You will be amazed, so prepare yourself. She is a legendary figure in basketball. In 2000, she created the Fever from the ground up. We're discussing more than just assembling a team. We're discussing everything from playoff runs to titles.
With the news of Kelly coming back, can you kind of take us through the process of maybe how long you've been thinking about a move like that and how significant this is for what you're trying to get accomplished here?
When I was first approached about the concept of it, I was like, oh, wow, taken aback a little bit. I hadn't thought about the possibility of unprecedented moment. And as we move forward, we need great leadership. And we need great leadership that's experienced with what we're going to deal with now.
Krauskopf made the Fever a formidable force. This is where things get crazy though. Krauskopf chose to level up after turning the Fever into a formidable opponent. She spent 6 years with the Pacers after jumping ship to the NBA. You can only imagine what she learned there. She seems to have attended graduate school for basketball. You would assume that everyone would be overjoyed when she returned with the Fever. False. ESPN is acting as though there is an issue. Is she too out of touch? Is one of the things they're saying. Really? Come on? Basketball is something this woman is passionate about. She has experience in both the NBA and the WNBA. In the world of sports, that would be equivalent to possessing a superpower. You know what's even more absurd? The CEO of the Fever essentially pleaded with her to return. Pacers Sports and Entertainment CEO Mel Rhines was furious about this. He was aware that the key ingredient they required was Krauskopf. Krauskopf too? She is really committed. She continued, anytime you're asked to return to a place that you helped build, you know it's special. It's more than simply a job. Passion is that. ESPN reveals a shocking revelation that has everyone talking, just when you thought Krauskopf's comeback was the ideal setting for a heartwarming tale. Is this just another instance of creating drama for the sake of ratings, or are they seeing something we're not?
You know, wow, if you told me and said, hey, list the 3 people, if you could have anybody you wanted in this new role, I would probably have listed Kelly 1, 2, and 3. When the league first started, Kelly was in the league office. And then the Simon family brought her to Indy to start the Indiana Fever. She's got all the bases covered. So once I heard that this was going to happen, man, if I could have done a flip or a handspring, I probably would have done it. Fortunately, I didn't try that.
With Krauskopf back in charge and Caitlin Clark lighting up the court, you would think ESPN would be enamored with this Cinderella tale. Nope, they're out here at a championship parade acting like party animals. They're busy creating drama as if it were their job, rather than praising this perfect squad in the making. Oh, I see. I suppose it is. What really baffles me though is that ESPN is unsure if Krauskopf is the appropriate fit, as if assembling a winning squad in the past wasn't evidence enough of her abilities. They're portraying her NBA career as a basketball vacation rather than a master class in managing a professional team. They seem to be viewing a separate film than the rest of us. What's the wildest part, you ask? ESPN is busy raising doubts, but Krauskopf has a grand strategy in place already. She's not only thinking about Clark, around herself, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell, she is creating an entire system. ESPN is concerned about whether Krauskopf still knows how to wield a clipboard, even though we're discussing a possible dynasty in the making. High-level stuff? You haven't yet seen anything. Krauskopf has a secret weapon that has the potential to completely upend the WNBA. Furthermore, it's a long-term plan that has the potential to permanently alter women's basketball. It's not just about Boston or Clark. The worst part is that ESPN is totally missing it. So let's discuss what's actually happening with the Fever, while ESPN is busy casting doubts. Krauskopf is bringing in more than just celebrity endorsements. She's starting from scratch to create a whole new culture. Imagine Mitchell's seasoned leadership, Boston's supremacy in the paint, and Clark's explosive play. That triple threat has the potential to rule for many years to come. However, it goes beyond the players. Krauskopf has a plan to turn the Fever into an Apple-like brand. Know what's crazy? She has a long-term perspective. This is a long-term strategy to rule the WNBA. She is discussing creating an enduring brand that will lead the nation. Is it possible for a WNBA team to have the same level of recognition as the largest NBA teams? Furthermore, Krauskopf is even thrilled with Christy Sides, the current coach. Claims to be a culture builder and resilient. That is significant because it indicates that Krauskopf will not simply come in and destroy everything. She is examining and improving upon what is effective. Are you curious about what's truly insane? Krauskopf isn't solely concerned with winning games. She is discussing transforming women's basketball as a whole. Our goal is to elevate not just one team, but the sport as a whole. The WNBA might reach new heights with that kind of vision,